My leadership positions at OBHS, I serve as the president of 5 clubs, so that includes Bring Change to Mind, FBLA, National Chinese Honor Society, Youth in Government, and Students Demand Action. And I also serve as the founder of Girls for Algorithmic Justice. I would say that I balance all of these responsibilities on top of being a senior and applying for colleges through very strong time management, as well as a passion that drives everything that I do. So for example, a lot of these activities I am very, very passionate about, and I can definitely see myself continuing them in college and beyond during my career. So I think that passion drives me to put in a lot of time to them and just manage my time really well so that I can give my all to each and every one of them. Yeah, so I've been in FBLA for 4 years. I've been a 4-time local chapter officer, and I currently serve as the president of Old Bridge FBLA. I've also been a 2-time state officer, and the 7,000 members of New Jersey FBLA have elected me twice as their state vice president, and I was recently appointed to serve as the national director of FBLA, so I lead over 200,000 members at the national level and serve as their National March of Dimes director. Yeah, so we have a lot of events for FBLA. We typically have about 3 or 4 national or state level conferences a year. So I actually just got back from our National Fall Leadership Conference this weekend. So that was in Rhode Island, and that was a gathering of FBLA members from all over the nation to connect and learn about business leadership. I would say that I've always been interested in social justice. It started out with being very passionate about environmental justice and environmental activism, and that kind of grew into a more broader, overarching passion for social justice. And I've always been interested in technology. My family is a family of programmers, so I've grown up surrounded by technology and software, and artificial intelligence is always something that has been very interesting to me, both in that it's a very new technology and in that it has a lot of potential for good or bad. So my hope is to work to mitigate the bad and then be a leader for the good applications of artificial intelligence. So most of the flaws in human rights concerns in AI surround privacy breaches as well as improper use of AI, as well as bias that can be baked into systems. So for example, my nonprofit, Girls for Algorithmic Justice, it's a mouthful, but just GFAJ for short, we really focus on putting forth legislation that holds companies accountable to fix any bias, baked-in bias into systems, as well as to put regulations that really set lines for how the government can use artificial intelligence and how corporations are able to use artificial intelligence. Yeah, so part of it is that the discrimination kind of falls disproportionately on the shoulders of young women of color. So, for example, the leading facial recognition technology by IBM, which is also comparable to a lot of technology by Amazon and many other manufacturers, it has a about 60% accuracy rate when used on women of color. And that is the lowest group out of any racial or gender group, and that's an almost 30% error margin compared to the most accurate group. So this is because of a multitude of reasons, but the main thing is that there's not a lot of representation in the field of artificial intelligence development, and then from there, there's not enough data that focuses on the needs of girls of color or women of color when developing these models. Yeah, so I started GFAJ in my junior year. So I started out by just writing letters and writing emails to our local representatives, so Senator Cory Booker, Representative Bonnie Watson-Coleman. And then from there, I started to get a few friends involved. Selena and Kavya were some main ones that were involved at OBHS. And then from there, we started to grow the nonprofit into a larger grassroots coalition. So from there, we now have over 280 volunteers, and we just focus on essentially that same work, just taking that, writing letters to Senator Cory Booker, and then bringing that to Wisconsin, California, and a bunch of other states and countries around the world. And I would say that from there, I started to do all of the normal nonprofit things. So I got it registered with the IRS and a bunch of other things to get established as a legitimate nonprofit, and then from there, we've just kept growing. Yeah, so like I said before, I am super passionate about artificial intelligence, so that's what I want to study in college. In terms of the short term, I want to keep recruiting volunteers, get our website up, and then just keep putting out more resources surrounding artificial intelligence. And then from there, in terms of long term, I really hope to establish this organization as one of the leading organizations in this realm of artificial intelligence ethics, and then just keep growing from there, and then keep doing this throughout my career. Yeah, so that's another project I've been working on. So Students Demand Action is a larger organization, so I'm working on establishing the Old Bridge chapter. So SDA is focused on gun violence prevention and education. So what I hope to accomplish with this organization is to really teach students about gun violence prevention and to really start conversations with administrators on how we can make Old Bridge a safer place and just be mindful of the concerns that these students have, as well as how we can just be cognizant of the risks, as well as just positive about hope that it can get better.